Hawaii volcano Kilauea's relentless eruption continues to threaten residents, and now Big Island faces a new challenge as Hurricane Hector makes its way towards it. Watch live footage from the volcano below. The Hawaii volcano's lava has now covered over 12 miles of land, stranding residents who are now threatened by a new challenge. Hurricane Hector is fast approaching with winds at an incredible speed of 120 miles per hour. The major hurricane threatens to reach Big Island as soon as Wednesday as residents prepare to store personal possessions in shipping containers after being evacuated earlier this year. A collision between a huge hurricane and a fragile volcano threatens Hawaii residents with flooding, mudslides, and toxic acid rain.
This is a civil defense message for Sunday, July 22nd at 8 in the morning. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory reports that eruption activity continues from Fissure 8 into the lava channel flowing to the ocean entry at Ahala Nui. As of this morning's overflight report, the southern margin of the flow is approximately 1/4 mile from the Pohoiki boat ramp. Earthquakes continue at the Kilauea summit. On roadway updates for the volcano area, State Highways reports that a speed limit of 25 miles per hour is in effect on Highway 11 between the 28 and 30 mile markers due to cracks in the road. Motorists are advised to stay on the pavement and be on the alert for changing roadway conditions. The following policies remain in effect. Do not access the active flow field due to extreme hazard. Be aware that channel overflows and breakouts are possible on the active flow field. The ocean entry continues to produce a laze plume. Take precautions and stay out of the plume to avoid exposure to hydrochloric acid and glass particles, which can irritate the skin, eyes, and lungs. Residents are reminded to check utility connections of gas, water, and electricity after earthquakes. We are on watch 24 hours a day for your safety. Thank you for listening. This is your Hawaii County Civil Defense.
Winds and rainstorms sparked by the hurricane are likely to mix with volcanic gases, causing toxic precipitation which puts crops, drinking water, and infrastructure at risk. Facebook users have voiced concern about the safety of anyone evacuated from the path of the lava flows who is still living in tents, should the worst happen. Facebook users took to the Hawaii Tracker page to voice their concern, especially for those evacuated from areas inundated by lava who are staying in tents at temporary shelters. Sarah Wilkinson wrote, "I truly hope they come up with a plan and start preparing soon. I'd imagine many of the people still in tents at the shelters don't have options for alternative lodging during the storm." Lori Moore added, "A hurricane is absolutely not needed right now. You people have been through so much. Hope there are plans for storm shelters." Deborah Ray said, "Shipping containers should be delivered from other areas of the island and would be great for people to share and store possessions. Would think that the Gov or military could easily supply some for people to use." A County of Hawaii spokeswoman said, "We are standing by as NWS forecasts Hector passing into the Central Pacific sometime on Sunday. We're following our standards of procedure and readiness." Kilauea volcano started its latest stage of eruption early in May this year and has now been spewing lava for 3 months. The volcano's violent new eruptive cycle has put large swathes of Big Island under lava, even creating a new slab of land. Over 1 kilometer of new land has now been created as a result of the lava flow, and dangerous rivers have now embedded themselves in the landscape. As flows from nearby fissures seem to slow down in their activity, it raises questions as to whether the volcano could stop erupting altogether. At the moment, the volcano's Fissure 8 is still erupting into an established lava channel, but overflows are receding. The recent overflows from lava rivers meant that the coverage of lava was spreading in new directions and threatening local communities. Hawaii has been struggling in the aftermath of the Kilauea volcano eruption 3 months ago and now is on the path of incoming Hurricane Hector. Here is the latest path and tracking news as the storm is predicted to smash Hawaii this weekend. Hawaii's Big Island will be hit by 2 of Mother Nature's most potentially devastating forces, a major hurricane and an erupting volcano next week, as Hurricane Hector is expected to make a close encounter. Hurricane Hector is currently forming in the Pacific some 1,700 miles, 2,760 km, east of Big Island. But the swirling vortex is expected to grow into a major hurricane on Saturday, with maximum sustained winds that could reach at least 111 miles per hour, 179 km per hour. Storms of that strength, classified as a Category 3 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale, are considered capable of causing devastating damage to populated areas. The U.S. National Hurricane Center, NHC, said Hector was classified as a Category 2 with winds of up to 105 miles per hour, 169 kph, on Friday but has since upgraded the rating. And the storm is currently on a trajectory that could brush the southern coast of the Big Island late on Wednesday morning. US weather agency AccuWeather said no expected impact will occur across the weekend, but warned next week could see further impact for residents on the Hawaiian Islands, including the disaster-fueled Big Island and the tourist hotspot of Maui. Hector is currently on a path that will take the tropical system south of Hawaii during the middle to latter part of next week. But the weather forecasters warned there are a couple of factors that could pull the storm farther north. A non-tropical feature may dip southward enough to tug Hector farther north next week, AccuWeather hurricane expert Dan Kotlowski said. Hurricane Hector is slated to cross into the central Pacific Basin by early Monday. Forecasters said the storm was moving west at about 12 miles per hour. This general motion is expected to continue through the weekend. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 15 miles from the center and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 80 miles. Hector would be roughly 160 miles southeast of Hilo on Wednesday morning. Central Pacific Hurricane Center's John Bravender said, "All options are on the table. It could move northwards to our latitude and have direct and significant impacts." Hector is a small hurricane and the smaller hurricanes tend to vary their strength quite rapidly more than a larger hurricane. And as it comes near us, it's certainly not out of the possibility of it being stronger than anticipated. Much remains unknown on the subject of what would happen if a hurricane's path was headed straight for a volcano. And it is still unclear whether low atmospheric pressure from a major cyclone could help trigger an eruption. The current lava flow has been going on for 93 days straight, making it the longest non-stop eruption on record from Kilauea's Lower East Rift Zone. But an eruption from another vent on Kilauea's Middle East Rift Zone continued with little interruption for 35 years. Forecasts from the National Hurricane Center warn news the storm has weakened was misleading as the hurricane has now been upgraded to a Category 3. The hurricane will gain strength suddenly and rapidly as it moves towards Hawaii, forecasters said. The hurricane could make landfall in the second half of next week. The Hurricane Center experts added, "This is a good time for everyone in the Hawaiian Islands to ensure they have their hurricane plan in place." Mount Kilauea erupted on May 3rd and has been spewing lava and destroying vast swathes of Big Island ever since. With Hurricane Hector expected to hit Big Island on Wednesday, the path could take the storm's track on a collision course with the erupting volcano, situated on the southern portion of the island. Kilauea continues to spew lava from vents on its eastern flank while its summit crater continues to collapse. So far, flowing lava has covered 13.4 square miles, 34.7 square km, of the island's surface, destroying more than 700 homes and displacing thousands of residents. The NHC report reads, at 9 a.m. UTC, the eye of Hurricane Hector was located near latitude 14.3 north, longitude 131.7 west. Hector is moving toward the west near 12 miles per hour, 19 kilometers per hour, and this general motion will likely continue for the next several days. On the forecast track, Hector is expected to reach the central Pacific Basin early Monday. Maximum sustained winds are near 120 miles per hour, 195 kilometers per hour, with higher gusts. Hector is a Category 3 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Short-term fluctuations in intensity are likely during the next few days, but Hector is expected to remain at or near major hurricane intensity through early next week. Hurricane force winds extend outward up to 15 miles, 30 km, from the center and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 80 miles, 130 km.